What's up everybody, Brian Tong here, and yes, this is the new M5 iPad Pro, which looks exactly like the iPad Pro before this. Yes, this year's improvements across the board with the M5 right now are a little more incremental. This iPad Pro, this is the 13-inch model, same size, same specs, but there's a few little under the hood improvements. We will talk about that. Now, we've got to talk about the M5 first because this is really what at least changes the performance of this if you're the type of person that could take advantage of it, right? Because let's be real, most of us are watching videos, watching YouTube, emailing, word processing, maybe, surfing the web for sure. But what else are other people doing? Some people are gaming on this, and there's then a smaller percentage of people who are professionals who are using some of these high-end features to get away from their desk. People using ZBrush or Procreate, Photoshopping for the iPad, the Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. But beyond that, these improvements may not really apply to you because we know the iPad is so good. So let's talk about the M5, right? This is their newest chip, their brand new chip, based off the 3rd generation 3nm process. What that means is more power efficient while also giving you more CPU performance. What are some of the gains here? Single core performance compared from the M5 to the M4, you get about a 10% increase. If you talk about multi-core performance from the M5 to the M4, somewhere around 15 to 20% performance increase. So not enough to blow your mind, but improvements nonetheless because that's how it should be. Now, if we're also talking about specifically, what is new about this chip, their neural engine has been improved. It has a larger memory bandwidth, so you're getting 153 gigabytes that you can just feed this beast, so that helps to run more tasks better, faster, more efficiently. This has a 10-core CPU and a 10-core GPU, but the biggest thing is this is truly a next-generation GPU because each GPU core has a neural accelerator inside that is going to help aid in all of these tasks and processes. So let's start here. When we talk about this next-gen GPU, there are new shader cores for better graphics performance. We're talking about 30% better than the M4. Then it also has Apple's new 3rd generation ray tracing pipeline. So this is things like lights and reflections and diffusion to really give a better sense of reality in these 3D modeled and generated worlds. The other piece of this puzzle is a re-architected 2nd generation dynamic caching. So all of these 3 things, these were major new features that were part of the M3, now come to the M5, but at new generations of them. Plus, this iPad Pro can now also drive external displays at 120 Hz. That's thanks to that new GPU. If you want to talk some new stuff under the hood, there's Apple's new N1 wireless networking chip. So that includes Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and then Thread. That's for smart home devices to be able to talk to each other and be more efficient. That is new inside here. The other thing is, if you want to get the Wi-Fi model, that's fine. But if you like the Wi-Fi and cellular model, this has the new C1X Apple modem, which is 50% better performance compared to the C1 that we first saw in the iPhone 16e. You follow that? Ultimately, the Apple created and built cellular modem is better performing in this new M5 iPad Pro. And I took it out to a cafe. I went just out to hang out just to see how this handles cellular connectivity. It was fine. There was nothing that blew my mind. It worked exactly how I expected it to, and that's how it should be. Also with this, SSD speeds, right, the solid state drive inside, twice as fast as before. Better read and write. I don't know if there was ever an issue with that with the iPad Pro for me, just the way that I use it more as a media consumption type device, but that helps as well. If we're talking about storage capacity, because this is something that you can configure yourself, 256 gigs, 512 gig options, those come with 12 gigs of memory. Now, if you jump up to the 1 terabyte or the 2 terabyte model, that'll be 16 gigs of memory. So if that's important to you, that's something to consider as well. The other thing, yes, I'm holding a Pencil Pro. These are accessories, but one thing you may not know is that this has fast charging. So what does that mean? I actually ran a test, and you do need to purchase this. Additionally, this is the Apple new 40 watt up to 65 watt power adapter. Again, this is an additional purchase, but what it allows you to do is fast charge this iPad Pro. It gets up to 50%. I did it in 32 minutes, and then 100% in an hour and 58 minutes. That is not possible unless you have this. Otherwise, it comes with a 20 watt power adapter, which takes longer to charge. So I know that this iPad Pro is capable of so much more than I use it for. people have been saying, oh, you should try it and do Final Cut Pro on an iPad. You should try and play with DaVinci Resolve. And I've played with it, but for me, for my brain, right, I may not be the generation that is like born into this, right? I've been using other software apps on a laptop for so long. That's just what I'm comfortable with. That's what I'm most efficient with. But it doesn't mean that this doesn't have power. I mean, in fact, this has incredible power. I was playing around with DaVinci Resolve and even just adding LUTs to long video clips and it instantly being able to apply it real time and then manipulate that video. That's something that didn't exist before, and I think a lot of people might take for granted, but it is one of the ways that a professional can take advantage of this. People doing ZBrush and 3D model rendering, that's another big advantage here, but I don't do that, so I'm not gonna pretend like I do that, and I'm not gonna show you that because I don't do that. You know what I do mostly? I take this, I web surf, I play games, I watch movies, and it does everything I need it to do. Will I maybe play with Premiere Pro on in the future? Yes. Have I played with Final Cut Pro? Yes, but just going to it as my daily driver, I'm not that type of user. It doesn't mean that you aren't, but at least I wanted to explain and lay out all the different new advantages that can apply to you if you really want to take advantage of it. Now, if we're talking about price point wise, the new iPad Pro, the 11-inch still starts at $999. You talk about the new 13-inch, that still starts at $1,299. So nothing has really changed other than really these main three things. The M5 chip inside, the new connectivity for the N1 and the C1X chip, and then fast charging. Those are the big three features. The smaller one is driving external displays at 120 hertz. If those are things that matter to you, then I think this makes sense to upgrade. But if you use your iPad the way that I use it, then you probably don't need an upgrade. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. But there you go. That is my review for the new incremental upgrade of the M5 iPad Pro.